you? Fix your face. You're dealing with the public, handling people's food.
Stop! Please.
Oh, and you can pipe down and all standing there like an ostrich. People. Can't stand them. Cheerful, grinning people.
Mum, I'll see you in a bit.
Where do you think you're going?
For a walk.
People are going to accuse you of loitering with intent.
Your sister called me.
Who?
Chantel.
I know who my sister is, thank you very much. When are you going to settle down?
Why, you have somebody for me?
Yes, Jesus.
At least he was a single man.
I spoke to Susie Davies a few times over the last year, and before I saw this movie and then after I saw this movie, I was very excited to hear that you were making a movie, first of all, and then excited to talk to you about it. Where do you begin with a movie like Hardtruths? I know that you work very closely with your actors to develop characters before you write a script. But do you have an idea for Pansy beforehand or anything, or you just meet with Marianne?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
no. I mean, obviously, one is tapping into experiences and ongoing preoccupations and all the rest of it. But no, I mean, the job is to. I mean, obviously, the first decision was, which we've been brewing for quite a long time, was to work with Marianne Jean-Baptiste, because that's well overdue. I mean, it's a long time since Secrets and Lies, and we've obviously stayed in touch. We're friends, but once you think, okay, we've got Marianne, and that means there's a wealth of possibilities. She's extremely intelligent, profoundly talented character actress who can do all sorts of things. And then deciding to focus on a Black family of Jamaican heritage and all of that. And gradually starting to think about character and sources and stuff. It starts to evolve. And of course, what happens, and this happens with artists in all kinds of media, is you then realize that, yes, actually it's that relates to a particular kind of experience. But it would be wrong to say that there was a particular idea or agenda to deal with. I mean, I have made films where there was, I mean, particularly, not least, Secrets and Lies and Vera Drake, which respectively wanted to make a film about adoption because people near to me have adopted kids, and wanted to make a film set before the 1967 Abortion Act in the UK, because I'm old enough to remember what it was like when people had unwanted pregnancies, and they had the likes of Vera Drake and even less savoury versions of Vera Drake were kicking around. But as often as not, you embark on the journey and you sort of dig in and react to stuff, and gradually you realize what it is you're doing, and it evolves. And that really would apply to this film.
I mean, over the past few years, you have done historical films like Mr. Turner, Peterloo. When you sit down with Marianne, I mean, has any thought about like, okay, we're going to set this present day versus 10 years ago or 20 years ago or more?
Sorry, say the question.
When you sit down with Marianne at first, I mean, you've done historical films.
Oh no.
Oh.
You can't suddenly decide it's going to be a period film. No, I mean, I knew we were going to make a contemporary film, and indeed, I felt it's about time I did do a contemporary film. I haven't done one since 2010. I mean, the only exception to what we're talking about. Have you seen my film? Did you see Career Girls?
No, I haven't actually. Film Lincoln Center did that great retrospective.
Yeah,
I caught up on a lot of movies. That was the one of them I still haven't seen.
Well, it's in the Criterion collection.
Oh, okay.
No, actually, sorry, it's going to be in the Criterion collection.
Okay.
It isn't yet, but it is going to be. That's an exception, because that's when I embarked on doing a contemporary film, and we were doing what we always do, which is this was going to be about these women who are around 30, but who met at Teachers Training College when they were students. And we were doing a lot of stuff where they were acting themselves in the past, so to speak. And I sat there. It was so interesting. I suddenly thought, actually, it would be great if we could see this as well. So in that film, unusually, it is both a contemporary and a period film because it's set in 1996 and I nearly said 18 and 1986.
Mm,
It's not set in 1886. That was a
right.
mistake. Though topsy-turvy more or less is, but that's beside the point.
Mm.
But no, I mean, I knew we were going to do a contemporary film, and that's what we've done
Uh,
with
so,
Hard Truths.
so let's just talk about Pansy. She's a great, another great character that you and Marianne created. Um, how do you like you and Marianne like figure that out? Like exactly how hard she's gonna go. That's the kids use how hard she's gonna go
And once
on
you,
her.
yeah, I mean, once you start to develop a character, and once you start to really dig down, you don't think we never really, in any tangible way that I could report, had discussions about how far should it go?
Mm.
Should we be restrained? Should we push it further? I mean, in a way, we knew we were pushing it further, but that was the more we investigated and created the character, the more three-dimensional she became, the more inevitable was her condition and the way she behaved and the way it had an effect on everybody else, all the other characters. Yeah.
I mean, as a New Yorker, it's hard not to kind of go into that mode. I mean, it's hard to not to be angry all the time. Uh, and I'm embarrassed by how much more I relate to her than I did to Poppy, to Sally Hawkins' great character in Happy Go Lucky, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'd love to be Poppy. I'd love to be cheerful and but it's like it's hard. It's hard in this world to be like her versus being like Pansy.
Yeah, well, all I can say, life is full of complexities, and there you go.
Yeah, I was curious about casting the other characters around her. You work with the great Nina Gold, amazing, probably one of the best casting directors in the world, maybe. Have you worked with any of these other actors at all, or do you kind of just work with her to kind of figure out who's going
Say
to play?
again.
Who?
Well,
How do you work with Nina Gold to like find the actors to play Curtly and
I
Moses
mean,
and the characters?
with Nina Gold started with me actually. I mean, the
Oh,
first movie she cast was Topsy Turvy, in fact, and she's gone on from strength to strength. She's brilliant, there's no question. But what she does, I mean, in this for this film, I just said, well, I just want to audition a lot of black actors, and so she lined up all sorts of black actors. Huge number of them came in for auditions. And then later on in the process, when I knew what additional characters I needed, I would share that with her, and she'd. I mean, there's no script for her to read and interpret. She would say, "Oh, well, how about so and so and such," and she just knows how to get them really. But it's very straightforward. I mean, I share with her, and or she simply she'll say to me sometimes, I don't know whether this is of any interest, but you ought to see this. I'm going to introduce you to X, Y, or Z. And she's often done that, and it's been productive.
do you go to a lot of theater and see actors on stage who you say I'd like
Yeah,
to work with them as well, or
of
yeah?
course, part of the job. And watching movies and watching television, and yeah, of course.
So when you decide on these characters, are you working with each character, with each actor individually at first before you bring all of them together, or
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's important. It's important on a number of levels for a number of reasons. First of all, it is absolutely essential that we create each character individually, so that that's just logical, and then you put them together and it grows. But also, I mean, I'm quite sure you're very aware of, because we do a lot of improvisation and stuff to bring the thing into existence. Although, as you will know, there's no improvisation on camera. It's all very thoroughly scripted and rehearsed eventually. But there are all sorts of conventions of filmmaking and improvisation workshops and all of that stuff, where actors really are just playing themselves, or they're saying whatever comes into their head, or they're trying to be interesting and all that stuff. But this is the other end of the spectrum from that. It's about characters drawn from real life. I mean, I start with each actor and ask each actor to have lists of real people they know, and I choose people and we build the characters from them. So it's what we were talking about is starting individually. It's important that each actor really has got a solid basis before needing to be with other actors, other characters. But also, because I work separately and, if you like, privately with each actor, I develop a very strong relationship, trusting relationship with each actor. And it's especially important with actors with whom I haven't worked before, obviously. So that also helps the whole strength of the ensemble.
I mean, you could tell the difference. I mean, it's like from your film between your films and other films, because like some filmmakers might write a screenplay and they might go, "Oh, this person has a girlfriend," and they just write the girlfriend, you know, and so that's why a lot of some films don't really work that well because they have characters who created just to fit a purpose in a story versus a
Yes,
real person.
exactly. I mean, yeah, of course. In conventional dramatic terms, of course, all the characters, in one sense, you could say that even the minor characters in Hard Truths are in some way or another a function of, dramatically speaking, a function of Pansy. But you can't have them look like mere ciphers.
Mm.
They've got to be absolutely, you've got to believe that they live in their own world and that they are the center of their own universe, like we all are in real life. Given that I know this is obvious to say, but I don't make movies about movies.
Mm.
It's about people, about life. I'm not referencing anything else. I never think about other movies, or I don't even think about my own other movies. No, I don't. Some people say, I mean, you've mentioned it yourself. A lot of people said, this is obviously the flip side of Happy Go Lucky.
Sure.
Never heard of it. To me, it's a real academic red herring, basically.
Mm.
One thing's got nothing to do with the other. In fact, the idea that Poppy in Happy Go Lucky is completely frivolous and the opposite is rubbish, because actually she's a very grounded, intelligent, focused and responsible young lady, but she's got a sense of humor, which is something that Pansy hasn't got.
But I do love, I mean, going back to what you were saying before, I mean, I do love that you can make a movie like Hard Truths and you can go off and follow other characters and their lives. We can see Michelle's daughters and what they're like, what they're going through. You could do that, and you could also you can literally like go off on a tangent and just
Yes,
from Pansy. Yeah.
we could, but I think that would merely be, I mean, what it would be sloppy and irresponsible and irrelevant.
Mm.
You've got, I mean, yes, we see those girls each in her respective work situation, and then lying about it in the afterwards. But that's as much as you need.
Right.
You went off in a huge red herring tangent, it would be just that, really. But yeah, I mean, there are less subplots in this film than in some of my other films.
Mm.
I mean, but that, as much as anything, is a function of the scale of the film, which is the function of the budget. So this film is shorter than quite a lot of them, and it's got the actual narrative threads are fewer, and it happens over a short period of time, but hopefully it digs down rather than spreads itself across.
And it adds a lot when you finally bring the 6 characters together in a room, where it's like absolutely, it's so much, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. By the way, it's funny you mentioned how people keep on bringing up Happy Go Lucky. I mean, do you feel like there's a Mike Leigh universe? I mean, do you think there's a world where Pansy and Poppy might run into each other on the street and have an interaction? Do you feel like all these characters live in this real world, or your world? Or
what do you think?
I would say I'd be really interested to find out. I mean, it's interesting. So many people want to see these universes on film.
Well,
and it's like,
I mean, I suppose. I mean, in a way, it's up to you, really. I mean, if you want to imagine the meeting of Pansy and Poppy you can do so. I mean, plainly, Pansy, you can well imagine, would give Poppy a hard time, but Poppy would be able to deal with it with her equanimity and sense of humor, really. So, but I'm not really too bothered about this hypothetical proposition.
Fair enough. Yeah. So having spoken to Susie Davies, and I talked to her a little bit about this movie. I talked to her about talking to Marianne about Pansy and how she's a clean freak and how
Yeah.
that kind of influenced. When do you bring in your heads of department, like someone like Susie, or unfortunately the late
As soon as it's possible to do so. I mean,
yeah.
once we've got the characters on the go and we're starting to, anticipate where we might, locations, what there might be, it's important for the costume designer, the production designer, not least, Susie in this case, and indeed the makeup designer to join in and to start to, tune into what we're doing and to share with me and the actors possibilities. And of course, to share it with the cinematographer so that we can start to talk about the look and the feel of the film, which again is shared with the designers. Cinematographer, as you know, in this case is the great Dickpope, who died recently, a couple of months ago, which is a great loss, a great tragedy. Kind of irreplaceable, but that's something I'm having to confront. But Susie, I mean, of course, Susie is a fantastic, brilliant. I mean, the idea that Susie has designed Conclave, Barbie, and Hard Truth, pretty impressive, you've got to say. And not to mention Mr. Turner and Peter Liu. When you talked to her, did you talk to her on Zoom or?
Oh yeah, I talked to her first for Saltburn and then again for Conclave. So
Yeah,
Saltburn was like a year ago or a little over a year ago, and
you
Conclave
talked to her on Zoom.
On Zoom, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But she's smart and open and direct and imaginative and resourceful and can think in film terms and is very, very adaptable, she's brilliant, she really is.
By the way, condolences for the loss of Dick Pope, a huge loss to cinema. I'm sure, great friend, great collaborator to you, I'm sure.
And on many other films too, not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I hope BAFTA does something to honor him. I know Oscars will just show his picture, but I mean, hopefully they'll do something a little more.
I hope so. Yes, I hope so.
Yeah, because a great. Let me see if any other questions for you before I let you go. You know what? One of the things is interesting that a lot of people, at least when I watch the movie, and maybe other people do too, they always want to know if why Kurtley doesn't just completely blow up at Pansy for the way she treats him, because she treats him so horribly, and you kind of want to see kind of resolution like that. Do you ever shoot extra stuff that doesn't make it to the film?
No.
Never. Okay.
No, it's not a question of alternative material. I mean, that's the way the relationship is. That's the way he is. I mean, I would suggest to you that if you think very carefully about some things that happen in the last section of the film, you might question whether your notion that he doesn't blow up at all, maybe that's debatable. Think about certain things that happen. But you know what? These are for you to speculate and ponder about. Like, you won't get me to say what I think happens next or afterwards or anything, because that's over to you, the audience.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate that, and I love the fact you make films like this, and I can't wait to see what you do next. I always get excited when I hear you make a movie, either from one of the collaborators or from Jeff Hill, who I've known a long time also, and I'm always grilling him. Hey, is Mike Leigh doing anything?
Well, hopefully we will shoot a film this coming year now in 25.
Wonderful.
The plans are afoot. Let's just hope we can do it.
Yes, that'd be wonderful.
Because I'm 82 next month.
Oh wow, I'm going to be 60 in six weeks, so I feel like a spring chicken.
A spring chicken.
A spring chicken.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Why are you so angry? Why can't you enjoy life?
I don't know.
You worry me, you know.
Pansy, what's going on?
I'm so lonely. What are we going to do about it? I don't understand you, but I love you.
And her over there with that fat baby, parading it around in the little outfit, not dressed for the weather, nah, with pockets. What's the baby got pockets for? What's it gonna keep in its pocket?